Greetings and welcome, everyone, to another All You Can Geek bonus round, a spoiler cast for Stranger Things Season 3. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Suniti.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Yo.
And Tony Korkanakis.
I dump your ass.
Welcome, guys.
Nice.
Welcome, listeners and viewers. I almost screwed up the beginning of this after that weird pause we just had, but we got through it. Yeah, so this is our spoiler cast for Stranger Things Season 3. So if you haven't finished the Netflix show yet, if you're behind, I would watch it and finish it, or if you haven't watched it yet, don't listen to this because we're going to go through spoilers, obviously, fates of characters, stuff like that's going to get talked about. So that's
check out other spoiler casts because some of our greatest moments were in the
yeah. That's true.
In the spoiler casts for this show. So
yeah.
You never know what you're going to get when Stranger Things are involved.
Yeah. Yes.
Stranger hand things.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's your last warning. Okay, we're going to kick this off, everybody. So, Corey, what about Barb?
What about Barb? Fuck it.
Anyways.
Did she even get a shout out in this season at all?
She did. They showed her picture.
They showed a picture, like,
during
is this all a conspiracy? You know, like on the news, it's like teen gone missing.
Yeah. That's so. Yeah, they had her picture on the screen. So, yeah, guys. So season 3 is in the books. It took us a little while. It took me a little while to get through it. Sorry.
It's understandable. It's understandable, dude. Like,
yeah.
Honestly,
I was saying, like, the further out from it, the less I actually.
I have to when they're like, I have to remember what happened in the show.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think I could do this.
The problem is like it doesn't seem like
not a lot. Yeah, I feel like not a lot actually happened.
You're right.
I'm confused because there was 8 episodes, and it just seemed like way shorter.
Yes,
way shorter than the last season's 8 episodes.
Wait, it's only 8 episodes?
Yeah. Yeah, every year.
Season 2 had
9.
But one of those episodes doesn't count. So
it doesn't. So the problem I had, like, that's it. I mean, it basically felt like development-wise, there wasn't any. It felt like they were trying to get us to this plot that they've created, and we just were getting thrown through everything.
And that's, I think, the biggest problem with this season for me. I don't know if you want to start this. I'm just ranting right now.
We can go ahead.
Then I think, like, what I really appreciate, especially about season 1, and to a lesser degree, I think season 2, but how like the audience and the characters were almost the same in terms of like what they knew, like in terms of like the Demigorgon or the Upside Down, like is like, oh, these characters, like, you know, when Nancy's reacting to like Will and the Lights, we're reacting to the Will and the Lights because we're like, what the fuck is this? Like, that's, you know, weird, but it makes an awesome moment. Whereas this, it's like, we're going to open up this entire season with these fucking evil Russian motherfuckers. And it's like, okay, cool. And now we have to sit around for 6 episodes for these fucking kids to figure that shit out. So it's kind of like, I don't know. In that regard, that really disappointed me. And then even with like the actual monster stuff, I was just like, wait, what's even going on right now? But it's not even good what's going on. Like,
right, and that's the thing I think you touched on here is that's what I wanted to really point out is season 1, we were like the mystery was like really cool. Like I was all in on the mystery. Like what is what are these creatures? It's like Alien, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to see the monster because it's so scary. Just that presence of like, and the fact that you know something's going on and we don't know what it is yet. And that anticipation of finding out and like learning as the kids learn, that really made season 1 fantastic. And then they had this 80s, vibe going on top of that, which was nice. Right. Yeah. Here, I felt like, let's just do this whole hardcore 80s thing. We take every reference we can, throw in all these sponsors, so like get these big corporations in there.
Coke brought out new Coke again for this.
Right. Yeah. And I felt like this season was more about showing us, hey, you love the 80s. Here's all this 80s shit for you.
Not necessarily.
How much of Back to the Future did we watch in this movie?
So it just seemed like that's where the focus was on that more so than the mystery of what these kids were trying to solve.
Let's break it apart here. Like, I really enjoyed actually the first episode. I actually enjoyed that quite a bit.
The first episode was good.
I actually enjoyed that.
I found the first few episodes quite boring.
No, I liked the first episode because it was like, welcome back. Here's where our characters are.
I mean, I thought it was necessary, but when it was done, I was like, all right, let's
but Mike, that was the episode that I was okay with the 80s references. I thought it was a fun episode, like throwing back.
It might have just been the great atmosphere you had when you were watching it.
No, yeah, maybe, but I watched it twice, and I watched it here too. Don't forget, I got to watch that episode twice, and I had the same vibe. It was fun to watch, and it was like I liked the '80s references because it was only one episode of it, and I was like, this is fine. But they continued throughout the entire show. That was my biggest problem. So
they lean too heavily on the nostalgia and the reference.
So we get our characters caught up in this episode. We get at 1 and 2 actually. We find out Mike and 9 or sorry 9.
11.
Mike and 11 are in.
Nine.
That would be bad if he was doing 9. That would
We don't even know.
I was stuck on 9 episodes, but anyways, Mike and L making out with Hopper.
I've got to say,
not
with Hopper in the room, in the other room. So,
I gotta say, I'm super disappointed in Hopper this season.
I didn't mind Hopper this as much.
I didn't mind him.
I will defend him here. I feel like he was very similar to every other season. He just fucking burnt out.
He just they played up like him just being like fake a bad guy like a little bit more than they needed to, because like I feel like they knew no one's really gonna be like, oh, Hopper's a dick. It's just gonna be like, oh, he's gonna like act cranky, but he's a good guy. They just did that too much for like comedy. I think
that was probably
they did it to the point where it's just like, is he like still a good guy or is he just really a dick now? Because like they're doing it too much now. So that's what they did, I think. But I think it was just for jokes.
The thing is, like, it was like initially it's like, okay, the dad's just angry, whatever. I was like, okay, whatever. But then like he just kept dwelling on it to the point where he's like, I just got to kill Mike, and this is like, bro, like,
you guys been through some shit. Like, give the kid a break.
Right. It's like, you've been through some shit. 11 can pretty much handle herself. Like, what is your worry here? Like, teen pregnancy? Is that the worst thing you have to, like, fucking, worry about right now? Like, I mean, at
the moment it was, yeah.
No.
Right, but, like, the thing is, like, it's such an overreaction.
Well, I think it's been with the time jump. With the time jump, it's been very quiet there, and they've resumed like normal teenager lives here, and I think that's where we get with Harper.
I don't know if you have a 13-year-old girl in the future,
but not only,
react similar.
But not, I mean, maybe we'll get to that. Hopefully, we'll get to that point one day. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, the point where he just straight up threatens Mike, like, you're gonna fucking sit here, and if you're lucky, I will continue to allow you to let you date my daughter. I'm just like, wow, fuck you, dude. Like, who the hell are you? Like, but it continued past that with how he treated Nancy the whole season, how it was like this passive aggressive, like, I want you, and I don't like it.
You mean Joy?
You mean
Joy?
Joy, not Nancy.
That was like, wait a second. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, you never know. But with Joy, it's like, I was like, dude, like, you just need to fucking get over yourself. And like, when like he got stood up at time restaurant, I was like, whatever. And especially with like the fucking Andre, was that his name? The Russian.
Alexei.
Yeah, with Alexei, I was just like, bro, like, come on, man, like, just take a fucking chill pill. I'm not saying like he didn't have a reason to be like have these feelings. It's just I don't think anything happened to warrant his like total like I'm.
Well, that's the thing is we haven't like seen them in like
I just
real
feel like
time.
A lot of it was for laughs, and it was kind of silly, but he turned out to be right about what he was thinking with Alexei, at least that during that one section there.
So I mean, that's the thing. Like this plot, I think this plot was kind of weird considering where they were.
You had multiple groups here, and for the longest time, you're like, well, who cares about the Russians? There's like something more pressing going on. I know they're going to be related, but like, just get them together. And I don't know.
I think that was. You know what's crazy is when we watched the beginning episode and they had the Dawn of the Dead as the show, the movie they were watching. I knew that was going to play into the story, and I didn't know how, because I was like, okay, how is this going to play into the story? Now the famous part would be the showdown at the mall with Dawn of the Dead, but the other thing was the people coming back from being killed.
Well, that's more like body snatcher.
Yeah, I got that from like the same idea. So they were very similar. It was like body snatchers, but I got a very zombie feel from them anyways. But I don't know. I'm trying to go through the plot here. It's not like we don't have to go through much here with it. It's just you had Steve at the Scoops Ahoy. You have
with Robin
Nancy and
they had their little pockets of groups. They're all figuring out different pieces of this puzzle to kind of come together. And I thought that was kind of again, it's kind of annoying. It's like, all these people have this information that's all going to help each other, and it's like, you just want them to.
I mean, they all had their own thing going on, even though it's all ended up being related, except the one that didn't need to exist at all. I mean, you had the Russian storyline and the Upside Down Mind Flayer storyline, and then there's in between, like, trying to figure stuff out, which is completely irrelevant. Jonathan and Nancy.
Yeah. No, and that's my issue.
Again.
Where the 80s became like the 1940s in The Office.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Again, Jonathan and Nancy. All they did in season 2 was like basically go on a road trip and fuck in that weird dude's basement. Like,
who was hilarious.
I mean, yeah, and at least then, if you cared about the relationship nonsense, it mattered then. Yeah. Here, it meant nothing. Everything they did meant nothing to anyone.
Yeah. It's so stupid. Like, they were like such worthless characters, and like I don't know.
The best thing they did was the dark room gag over and over again. That was the best thing.
That was kind of funny, actually. Yeah. Come on.
I think
like proving her worthlessness even more. It's like,
I mean, I think that they had a nice moment with the hospital sequence. I like that sequence.
It was a good, like, I guess, horror sequence, but
yeah. I don't know. I thought Billy. Let's go with Billy here.
There's another issue I have with this season here. Everyone
really
says
cared about his character, but go on.
No, I mean, that's one thing. Number one, they take just about the least sympathetic character to have something bad happen to here. Mm-hmm. Number two, you get this sort of weird, like, everyone says it's more scary when the villain can talk. I don't think so. I think it's more scary when it's just like some unknown force that you can't communicate with and just does things without, like, explaining itself. Now, the Mind Flayer didn't do a good job explaining himself because no one knows what the fuck he's saying other than I'm going to take this over or I'm angry at L or some nonsense like that. But I don't know, the whole, like, talking through Billy thing, and I didn't like that. I thought it took away from a lot of the scariness of the character.
Before the season aired, I know we did the episode we were talking about it, and I said, I was like, I think it'd be really cool. Like, one of the possibilities, like maybe like body snatchers or something like that. And at first I thought that's what we were getting, but then it was like turned out to be this weird, I don't know, like, maybe it was supposed to be body snatchers, but I just didn't like the execution of it. I was like,
No, I'm telling you, it was body snatchers and Nicholas zombies. It was what they're trying to go for.
If the characters were important enough, they would stay, like, kind of alive, and then if they weren't, they would be melted into something else.
But they never explained Billy. Why is it when he drew everybody else back, why did Billy not get drawn back with everybody else?
I guess he was supposed
Patient Zero
to be like, I don't know. Maybe
that's why I never got.
Maybe it was the hate in his heart that let him be a great host, and that's why he wasn't later, or some stupid bullshit like that.
I don't know.
No, I was definitely disappointed in the villain here again. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, I thought that the first season did a great job because of the mystery behind it. And here, there really was no mystery. Like, there wasn't, like, they're trying to solve these things, but there's nothing to solve.
There's mystery in a different way. The mystery in this is, like, what are the Russians doing or thinking?
That's not interesting.
I know, and it's not, especially since they don't really
they didn't address it. They still didn't address it.
Yeah, by the end of it, you're just like, Russians are still doing Russian things.
And then Alexei, even they ask him, "What are you doing?" And like, well, why would we close the door? Well, you've already turned the key. Why would you close it? I'm like, that's not a fucking answer. Like, why did you start doing what you're doing? What's the end game?
I mean,
what are you trying to
starts
accomplish?
And ends with the after credit sequence in the same place. Essentially, it's like we learned nothing through these entire thing here.
Yeah,
except for like a bunch of kids can solve like super secret messages.
Yeah,
that's what's upsetting. Like, the thing is, like, I think overall, still, like, there's enough good, and we'll get to the good.
There's some good stuff. Yeah, there's.
I guess so. We love drag. We just love.
I think we can get to the good stuff. I mean, we can get into that, but
yeah, the thing is, like, overall, I still think I like it better than season 2 because, like,
I did.
I have zero interest ever rewatching season 2. Like,
there's no filler episode with this. There's not enough episodes.
I like season 2 almost as much as season 1. I think it was a good follow up to the first season, and it was had better character moments. I thought the only problem was that one throwaway episode.
The problem is you had the exact same character problem. You had Will as the victim again, and you're like, you're going through the same problem.
It's a different vibe to him though. Like that time.
Looking back at season 2, I think I liked looking back at season 2 more than I like looking back at season 1 or season 3 right now. As of right now, I just think there are some characters like you mentioned, Mike. I like that. Like, I thought Rudy was really great. What's
Rudy?
Sam?
Sean Astin.
Sean, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam, Rudy. What the fuck is his name?
You'll get it.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. There it is, Bob. But yeah, no, but like looking back at this season, it's just like so forgettable, except for like, all the fucking product placement that was in there, and that just like I loved it at first. I was like, oh, this is really cool.
That's why I said the first episode was great with it.
But then it just kind of like, all right, that's all we're getting though. We're getting so much emphasis on this. So.
It was like, especially jarring for me, especially like seeing like Burger King logo, because that was like the first Burger King logo I remember in my life. Yeah. Like that one. It's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, that's what Burger King used to look like when I was like 3. Now I remember.
So I do want to get into some of the good stuff.
Let's get into that.
But I just want to mention one more thing. I do think the Demogorgon is much better than the Mind Flayer as a villain.
I like that.
I like
having the Demogorgons coming back. No, but I like having the Demogorgon in the first season coming back now.
I like them better than the Mind Flayer here.
Oh. No, I like the Mind Flayer in this more than the dogs.
Okay.
But yeah,
let's get into good.
Okay. So the good stuff. I mean, you're talking about like I liked
the character's great.
Huh?
The new character with Steve.
Robin. She was great. Right. I liked. You know what? For some reason, I thought she was like. I thought she was a Russian
direction
spy.
Of. Oh.
I think. I like I'm gonna be in the minority here. I think her twist felt cheap.
I like that they did that though.
Yeah,
I think it would have been much worse if they had done the whole. Oh, now the girl that was crushing on this guy the whole time gets to have them at the end. Like that would have been stupid.
Yeah, I like that because if they were like, oh yeah, well let's kiss, I would have been like, get out.
No, I like
you
that.
just barfed in this, and now you're gonna like start making out. Like,
I honestly thought that she was going to talk like say she was a Russian spy. Actually, like that whole conversation, like she's a spy, and I'm like, and then she went a different way with it. I'm like, oh. Obviously not a spy, but yeah.
I just felt like that was like a blatant like bait and switch. That was like a too blatant like baiting beforehand.
I'd much rather prefer that outcome than having them right off into the sunset.
Yeah, I did like that outcome too. Steve's character I liked quite a bit in this.
I liked it because
Steve's always good.
Yeah, I liked it because Steve was like when the notion was even.
Actually, I like that whole section.
With Dustin, he's like, ugh, her? Like, whatever. And then throughout a couple episodes, now he's like, wait, okay, like, I can dig with her. And then he's like, hey, why don't we do this? She's like, yeah, I'm not into guys. And it's like, oh. And I love it because, like, it shows, like, Steve.
Tammy was always looking at you. Always at you. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Exactly. You can't even, like.
See, that's the thing. I thought that was, like, really, like, unrealistic, like, dialogue gymnastics to, like, make that make any sense. I thought it was silly.
I think that I liked let's just take that part of the plot. I know we didn't like the Russian setup, but I liked that group the entire time.
No, I mean again,
I think they were the most fun, really.
Yeah.
Erica, you can't spell America without Erica. It's just like that is incidentally true.
Dustin was great in this season with Susie as well. But like that whole group I thought was great. I enjoyed that. I was laughing like crazy during their stuff.
Yeah. I think they were great as well. And again, Steve and Dustin as a combination are really good together.
Yeah, that's why they found that out last season, which was great. Learning from the rest of the group. That's the problem is like they didn't have any strengths with that. I mean, they tried to do some. They were trying to go really like jokey with things like the relationships with these kids.
Yeah, I couldn't. That was
teenage adolescents, like that's kind of like they were playing off of, and I didn't mind that. But again, we're talking about what we liked here, and I liked that 11 was with the group again. Like two. What the fuck? Like, why is she hiding all this time? Like, she's here finally. Like, we got her, and she's like showing off a little bit of powers, and like using it for fun. Like, like that's what a kid would do.
What you would expect a teenage girl, if it was.
She was very much like. I mean, I actually liked her character growth more because I think getting her out was a cool thing for her character because you realize like she's never been to a mall, and it's just like okay, so you got that going. I actually enjoyed that, but I also liked, like you said, they had no like cheapness of it. They didn't take her out of the equation for 3/4 of the season or the last episode to bring her back in. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I didn't like about season 2.
They took her out of the last episode with some thing we've never seen before. But
well, no, I mean that was what gets all of the people that sucker thingy, whatever the hell was in, like, part of it was in her leg. It bit her just like everybody else. It wasn't like we've never seen it before.
No, we haven't. Well, I mean, it's just like this new rule. That's like, oh, this is going to take her powers away for like.
Well, we don't know about that. We don't know
amount of time.
She may have burnt herself out with the powers at the moment. I mean, we don't know exactly what this is. We don't know if she lost her powers. We don't know, and I don't think she has. But you know,
I was waiting for that Magneto moment with the.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I definitely enjoyed this season more than season 2, and because I had a lot of like I didn't like the villains in season 2.
I think you guys got to go back and see what you said after season 2, because I recalled everyone putting it almost on equal footing with the first season.
No, I have to go back.
Maybe,
But I want to go back.
Definitely all hated on freaking the sister and that whole sequence. And I don't think it was good. None of us liked the fact that 11.
I mean,
wasn't
if anything,
part of the
like,
group.
well, that might have been true. Like, the thing is, now seeing season 3 just makes me feel like season 2 is just so pointless in the grand scheme of things.
No, see, to me, I like season 2 better because I thought season 3
that's fine, but we're talking about season 3, so I don't know why.
So, you know, I actually the Mind Flayer was not supposed to be the villain I thought of this season. That's why I was shocked to see that we were getting him again.
Right. Well, the thing is, like, what I wanted to see was like how you know, a piece of him was still left behind in our world, or however they described it, and figure out like, okay, well, why or how, like, and you know, what was its ultimate goal? And then it's like he's just like, I want to kill 11. I'm like, what? Like, bitch, please.
Yeah. Why 11? Yeah.
Really, like, that's such a terrible.
There are 10 other kids that probably have powers that you could be dealing with too.
Yeah, well, she was the one who did something.
Yeah, but what was it? Why? Like, who the fuck?
Closed the vagina hole to keep him out.
She did. She closed the breach. So I don't know.
Which, by the way, I think the rules or whatever they said was because he dispersed from Will first or something, and then it was closed, so he couldn't get back. But he's not powered because the hole wasn't open or something like that. Is that what they're?
I think they're trying to say that, like, yeah, part of him was in Will, and that part stayed
somewhere, but it couldn't do anything.
I will say, I do appreciate how Will wasn't in danger the whole
season. I'm very happy for that. I'm very happy for that.
And yet he's the third wheel. Fifth wheel.
He's got an issue, but
it got kind of old at the end. But like, I like how like the whole the first half, he just wants to play fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
like all his other friends are like out pouting or having like girlfriends. He's just like, guys, let's play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's just like, man, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah,
sorry about that. The lame part was like, other than that though, like it seemed like he didn't really have too much. Like it seemed like most of it was just like,
what?
So many times.
Yeah, he was the early warning detector, which didn't make sense because like the Mind Flayer had no interest in him whatsoever in this season. Which that was the problem I had with that. I didn't have any interest in Will. Yet he was constantly interested in Will to begin with.
I mean, like he was with him before, and it didn't work out for him. So whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I like the whole like Russian mall. And well, I actually like. Let's talk about Alexei and the crazy news guy. The Alexei
was awesome.
Alexei was great.
He's my favorite character of the season.
Here's the problem with Alexei. He was like their pet. Like they basically killed the dog.
Yeah, he was like their pet.
They basically killed the dog. Ashley bawled her eyes out.
Did she? Yeah. I liked the beginning with Hopper going to get the Whopper or the big like the cherry Slurpee, but it was strawberry, and he's not running. He's trying. He's trying to use us to get as much out of it, and he's like the Hopper goes to the whole thing, and he drives the car away, and he stops, and you're like, that's a good Hopper moment there. Yeah. But I liked his dynamic with Alexei. I actually enjoyed that. I don't know. I mean, do we think Hopper's dead?
No, obviously
probably not.
But
nobody.
But before we move off from that, I don't know how I felt about the broke ass Russian Terminator. I don't know
what he was about. Like I don't get it.
Again, I mean, if you're dealing with Russians, you're gonna have some like
Terminator
dude, and I mean, like it was nice, I guess, to have some like action scenes with like a person fighting a person, but.
That's why I'm not watching it.
Again, that's where I was like, they are really like banking hard on your 80s nostalgia. Like this
Terminator,
is straight
right?
up Terminator, and it's like
Yeah, the leather
they're
jacket,
just like throwing all that 80s stuff at you, and it's like it just felt like they cared more about showing your 80s nostalgia stuff.
Did you feel like I feel like Carrie Ells was wasted with the mayor? Like I really didn't see what his point was.
Just being a douche.
Yeah, I love seeing his ass get kicked.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't even realize it was Carrie Ells at first until Amanda, my girlfriend, actually said, "Isn't that the guy from what she recognized it from?"
Bride?
No, that was from Princess Bride. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's Robin Hood. That's Robin Hood from Men in Tights. That's where I got her from. But it was interesting casting for a role that probably will come back.
I mean, I heard about the casting before the show aired, so I knew he was in it. It was just like, yeah, we want to get that, again, that 80s actor that, was popular.
So I don't get the rat part. They didn't really explain that well, what the rats were doing.
They were going into another,
fertilizer?
Did they ever explain the fertilizer?
No, they never explained fertilizer.
No. Who knows? I mean, it's just they're full of shit, I guess. I don't know.
No, but the people were eating the fertilizer too. Like,
I know they want to be full of shit.
There's something to do with like them needing certain.
They just want to be gross to like become a giant gross blob of shit.
Yep.
I guess I don't know, but all right. So
that's
we have
a problem with this season. That's why nothing really makes sense when you look at it.
Well, I mean, you're trying to dissect this part. That's why we're not really we're not deep diving into the episode here. But
like, I like that 11 got to show off a lot more of her powers in this season. With just being a girl, like we said before, and then at the end, a little bit with more action stuff. I thought, and like finding and using
the giant mind flayer going after them.
Things.
Yeah, the giant mind flayer going after them. I mean, Will's house the final showdown at Will's house won't be in this picture anymore, I don't think. That's
the other thing that kind of like the ending. I was just like, wait a second. So, like, you're moving, but like, clearly,
you're jumping all.
No, I mean, we're not going to go through the whole story. We're not doing that. Like,
it's just clearly, it's like I don't know, like it seems like the only one that wants to move is Joy. Like her kids don't want them to move. Like their kids' significant others don't want them to move. So I was like, why are you doing this exactly? Like,
I think that comes back.
Yeah, and
I think it comes back next season. That's a plot point for next season, I think.
But like the other thing is just, I don't know. Like, why can't you just move to a different part of town or like move the town over? Like,
well, I can understand. Like, you've seen like all this death and stuff around you, and not wanting to be in that. Like, I can understand that.
And you know that there's a like.
And you think
opening to another dimension
right? And you think that like this evil is located in this town, yeah.
I don't know. It just seems. I don't know, but like I mean, the way they made it sound was like they were moving so far away, and I'm just like, I can understand like a town over, 2 towns over, but like it seemed like there's like we're never going to see you guys ever again.
Did they say? I don't know if I misheard.
It's like a different state.
Did they say Boulder? Like they were going to Colorado? Did I hear that? Or
I don't remember where they were going. No, I don't know. But that part, I mean, so the whole final showdown area, like that, Billy holding them in place with his car, like ripping out the cables. Why didn't he just like smash the car to pieces?
So not only that, but he's just taking 11. That's the thing. I was like, wait, so you're just straight up taking 11?
He leaves the other ones there. Yeah. Yep. Up until that point, so yeah, he just takes 11. I don't know. That whole sequence I thought was
again
orchestrated.
Did we know if the mind flayer really wants to kill her, or just to like merge with her, or go? I don't know what.
We don't know. That wasn't actually
part. It's like I liked the character stuff, but I just hated the mystery monster Russian shit. Like it just didn't pay off.
I mean, again, like Corey was right. There's no sense of mystery for the whole like first half. Like people just not knowing what we know, and it's just, and then in the end, we don't know anything new.
Right. Really. That's the thing. It's like you look at the first minute or two of the season, it's like, okay, Russians are up to shit. Last episode, we don't learn anything new. Anything.
I mean, we learned they have a
Demogorgon. They have a mall. Yeah, it's like they have a mall. It's like, oh, cool, they built like this mall.
Yeah, it seems like we definitely are not like digging this season because we keep reverting back to things that are annoying us.
No, I liked Dustin and Susie's part. I love that never-ending story part. I thought
that's like character moments. Like anytime the characters are together and they're doing stuff, it's fun and it's awesome. It's just
even like the whole last sequence. I enjoyed that quite a bit with these characters, like splitting up into teams, but after they come together.
Right.
Like I actually liked their plan.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay,
it's the cast of the characters. Like they're just so great that like this show could literally like this season if they just removed all that shit, like I still probably would have really enjoyed the season. Like just like it's about our high school day lives. It's like okay, like I'm on board with that. I'd watch a season of that. I'd watch 8 episodes of that, like their summer vacation or whatever like that. But it's just like we're gonna try to sprinkle in this like continuation of this like monster Demogorgon mind flayer bullshit. I'm just like, but you didn't really do it that well. Like
No.
You know, if you're gonna do it well. Don't half-ass it. You know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, so,
I still enjoyed the season. I'm glad I watched it. I had fun watching it. Just like again, just like
well, that's the thing is you expect
like, I can
expect more.
Yeah,
from what you've had. You've had better, and so you want more. And again, like we're ragging on this, but this still is better than a lot of the television that's out there.
Yeah.
It's great. I can't wait for the next season. I really can't.
We want more because of how good it was. And
that's the thing. Like they're like this. I said that this is no Game of Thrones. This is not disappointing us. It's just like they didn't give us enough, and that's a good sign. But they need to really work on that next season. I think they need to maybe have less.
The end.
No, I don't think so. Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think this show is way too
money
much.
Train, right?
It's
too much. Yeah.
But is it at the end of these characters?
No.
Again, like we had a lot of predictions. Pretty much no one died.
No.
Yeah, but I think these actors though are kind of becoming bigger stars than.
That's why I think. Do we think Hopper's actually gone?
Probably not. I mean,
we could get in predictions for season 4.
There's a bunch of. I mean, again, there's nobody.
He's clearly in the Russian cell. Like that's clearly.
Is that him, or is it
the American?
Yeah.
Or is he in the Upside Down?
I thought he would be in the Upside Down. The American in the cell could be the guy from the company.
Is the Russians are using that as kind of like a gateway? Okay, kind of like how Nightcrawler's ability
teleporting,
referencing X-Men, right? It's teleporting, but what she's actually doing is going through this fucking weird ass like dark dimension bullshit. Just he travels so fast that he doesn't notice or see any of it. Nobody notices him, and he just pops out the other end. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what is going on. It's like the Russians like we want to invade America through this portal and just catch them off guard. So we're gonna build this like gate thing. We just need to figure out how to navigate through this fucking dark dimension bullshit upside down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
That would make the most sense. I wish we had like a little inclination that was it in the season.
The guy
to pay off the Russian stuff a little better.
Did the guy that raised L, did he get killed in the second season?
It sure seemed like he didn't, but he didn't, right?
Because I thought he was the guy for the Russians there, the American. That's what I'm thinking.
It could be. So the thing is, like in season 2, I'm trying to remember that one dude that they like almost beat up with Elle's sister. Like he's like, I can get in touch with him, you know.
Yeah.
Like no, he's dead, and he's like, you don't. You know, he's definitely not. Or
that's why I think he's the guy in the cell, and that's how the Russians knew where to look for the portal.
Matthew Modine.
Yeah.
I kind of the thing is, it almost seems like they're disregarding that entire episode.
See, that's the thing is like I don't think Hopper is in that cell. I think he's in the Upside Down.
I think he's in the Upside Down as well, and I think when Elle gets her powers back, I think that kind of starts the plot.
Because that's how Elle comes back too. Is like she came back from the Upside Down in season 2.
Yeah. So that would make sense if maybe because the thing is, like you said, like there's no bodies. Like when they got into the warp room or whatever, I was called the warp room. Like there wasn't all that gooey stuff that the first episode had when that reaction happened. It was just right. It was just
Well, there was
like a force field, and then there were people on one side and Hopper's on the other side, and then people on the side that Hopper wasn't on turned to like ash.
It was a snap issue. Yeah,
and then Hopper was on this other side of this like energy field thingy, and then you don't see what happens to him, and you don't see any ash.
That's why that off-screen thing. That's why he's got to be alive still. But,
it has to be.
Yeah.
So it's like they do pan in that area, and there's like no body, like and before you could see like ash and stuff for other people.
All right. What else, guys?
So
I hope Nancy and John just have a baby and fuck off. Like I don't even want
not in the show. I think they should. I think they need to narrow. I think because they want to do 8 episodes in a season, they want to keep it concise like that. You need to have less characters. You just don't have the time.
How old are they supposed to be that like they're getting moved away, even though they're such a solid couple? Right?
Yeah, they're still living with their parents.
But yeah, like this is the 80s.
Colleges.
Do that then.
Colleges. Ages.
Yeah, you get a loan in the 80s were pretty good.
Yeah.
What's weird to me was like Dustin talking about how hot his girlfriend was, and
Yeah,
like,
I think
and she's like, the Phoebe Cates hot, and blah blah,
yeah,
and then she looks like she's 9.
Yeah,
Like,
it was a little weird that she's a
thank-
lot. She seems a bit younger than them. To be
yeah,
honest.
no, that's why I was like, she's talking about like how hot she is, and then like you see her and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
like,
Because that's
even
the thing,
like two girls, like Elle and the redhead girl, like look, Max, they look older than this other chick by a significant amount.
Yeah. That's the thing is like I knew just how much he talked her up. Like I was like, okay, this is obviously like they're subverting the expectations from now. So by the end of the season we can find out, or like maybe that's the last episode she pops up, like Dusty and stuff like that.
Yeah, Dusty Buns.
Right. When I saw it, I was
Dusty
like, bro, like this. Like,
Cradle Robin.
Yeah, like I was like, I think you should go to jail for whatever you do. I know you're only 13, but I think you should go to jail.
Yeah, I thought she looked pretty young, but I thought it was hilarious the singing with everybody listening. They're like,
That was
but,
It was good to break up the tension there, but I was a little surprised with we heard there was going to be this big time jump. It was just a year later. It seemed like
3 years. I thought.
No,
I thought it was 3 years.
Was it? No,
Yeah.
I
That was a year.
I think it was just a year.
Later.
Oh.
It was just a year
later on the.
It was 85 this time, and I think.
No, that was 84. I think you're right.
Oh,
yeah.
No, it's a year and a half because.
Right.
Right.
Halloween last season.
That's right.
They skipped the whole school year. That's why it was in summer. So it was a year and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's what even Hopper said, like, oh, the past 6 or 9 months or whatever, just been.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. All right. I think that's.
No predictions for season 4.
I did.
mean,
I told you. I think the American is what's his name? Brenner. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Yeah, I'm on board with this. All right. So I'm not on board fully. Like I get what you're saying, Jim, but season 4, my expectation is it's going to be somehow they find out that Hopper isn't dead one way or another. It's about 11 either getting her powers back or rechaining her powers to get to that point where she can go and rescue Hopper, and that's going to be
The main
storyline for season.
I hope so. Where does this leave like Max, who actually also kind of suffered this season because she was just like Elle's devil's advocate and then sad.
I didn't have a problem with Max.
I don't know. She kind of sucked a little bit this season too.
What she did that sucked.
Just decide to like sabotage a relationship for no.
She wasn't like sabotage. She was like doing like women power. Like the girl was very sheltered. I understand Max's side of things, whereas like you're dealing with a girl who has no idea about a mole.
Yeah, but like she didn't like do anything else herself other than just be sad afterwards when Billy died. I don't know. I wanted to see her like do something a little different.
What did Mike do this whole season?
Yeah, Mike didn't do shit. He was a mopey little teenager.
Well, Mike has like the star.
Guys, we can't let her hurt herself. Guys, we can't let. He's constantly crying about that.
Yeah, what I would like to see is like if they're gonna play up on this 80s shit, like let's do some It type of stuff, like and do a time jump type of thing, and get some because I thought this was gonna be last season, so that's what I was basing this on. Is like having future them and like past them and like having things go there where you can get some like either flash forward and then flashbacks. I'd like to see that because I thought this was gonna be last season. But if they're gonna do more, then that might not make sense.
Yeah, that sounds like something I don't want at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would like them to explain what happened more. I still want more insight into the Upside Down and
I think
now what the Russians are doing.
But I think they set themselves up with that for this season. So this is what I think. I think with Hopper getting brought back out of the Upside Down next season, I think we get more explanation of what that is. And I think also I like Tony's theory about the Russians portals. Mm-hmm. I think we get that figured out. I think that makes sense.
That makes more sense than like.
And we're getting Demogorgons back.
And we're getting the Demogorgons, which are better as a villain. Like just having them jumping through walls. That's gonna be so cool to see again.
But in the case that we're all wrong, if Hopper is dead, are we pissed off?
No, fuck
no.
I don't give a shit about him.
I'm okay with the way his character went out. I'm okay with it.
See that I would be less interested in the next season because he's like the star of the show at this point.
I wouldn't say that.
He was this season pretty much.
11's the star.
He's a main character, but
that's what I mean. 11's gonna get her powers back. She's the main character.
Yeah.
People watch the show because I love 11,
not because of Hopper. So, all right. I think it's going to wrap up this spoiler
It's like
cast.
watching Star Wars for Luke Skywalker instead of Han Solo.
I do watch it for Luke. I do watch it for Luke Skywalker, actually, Mike.
Oh man, that's
He's
why.
way better than Han Solo, in my opinion.
Oh, that's why it's lacking. He's like a.
That's why I watch it. Luke Skywalker versus Han Solo. Like, I think you got to take. I think it's crazy to think you take Han Solo over Luke Skywalker. I'm sorry.
The Skywalker saga over the Han Solo saga.
I think that's crazy I didn't know people watched it just for Han Solo. I watched it for Luke Skywalker. Han Solo was a side character. Sorry, we could get another conversation.
I watched it for Luke Skywalker. As an adult, I watched it for Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like, oh, looking back, totally sounded Han Solo.
Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap up this spoiler cast. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you thought of this season. Write us podcast at allingeek.net. Follow us on Twitter at allingeek.
Don't write us. Tweet at us.
Tweet at us. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Tweet. If you tweet at us, you're going to get something. I don't know what it is. You're going to get something. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Movie or digital credit or something.
All right. Sounds good. Tune in next week. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook as well. We'll tune in next week. We have our Gamecast, Moviecast topics coming back. We'll see you then. Thanks.